Alright, so this Knife Thoughts video is going to be a quick unboxing of two sets of knives here from Ozark Trail, which is a Walmart brand. And if you've seen my recent videos, I did one on a couple knives that I got from Ozark Trail while I was traveling. And they've kind of, I got some Ozark Trail knives a while back, and they were not very good, but, you know, super cheap. And they've gotten a little bit better, I think, recently. I saw these a while back on Walmart.com, and each of these sets, so there's a 3-knife or 6-piece, because they count the sheaths as separate pieces, set here, 3 fixed blades, and then 3 folding knives. Each of these combos or sets is $15. Saw them a while back on Walmart.com and thought it seemed like an interesting deal, wanted to try it out. They actually sold out. So I thought that probably they wouldn't come back. It doesn't seem like they have, you know, running models or really anything like that. But they did come back, and I decided why not, you know, give it a shot. So I think I'm going to start with the fixed blades here. So I'll set the folders aside, and these remind me kind of like a Mora type knife. You know, it's got a plastic handle, then a, you know, molded sheath. And right off the bat, when I first got these, I noticed this one has a little bit of edge damage there. But let's open it up and take a look a little closer. Now, one thought I had with these is, as long as they are nice enough for, you know, giving away as a gift. You wouldn't want to give a bad knife away as a gift, but as long as they're nice, you know, you could get some, you know, give these as gifts and, you know, get a couple of your Christmas gifts out of the way. This is weird packaging. So those are like sealed in there, I think. Yeah. And that's, you know, kind of what I'm hoping out of this. I've got, you know, lots of higher end knives that I carry and use, so don't necessarily need these, but they could be great gifts. Or the other thing is, you know, it's always good to have kind of backups for, you know, your car or your tackle box, or just good to have backups. So you always have a knife when you need one. A little bit of a struggle here, but we'll see how the quality is. So I'll get these out. I'm gonna just get them, hopefully I'm gonna get them all out right now. There we go, so that you don't have to listen to this awful sound of pulling them out of here for too much longer. There we go. And I'm using my Spyderco Watu to open this today, carrying that and the Lion Steel Collector Knives exclusive Dom. Let's get these sheaths out also. So the sheaths are all alike, and I'll mention why I mentioned that. Whoops. It's an unboxing, so the show must go on. Mention that in a second here. But let's take a look at these. So we've got this one with a tan handle, then an orange handle, then a gray handle. Now, the box for these actually doesn't say the steel. So on the back of the box here, it just says 8-inch fixed blade knives, injection sheaths, stainless steel blade, plastic handle, sheath included. But on Walmart.com, it actually did say that these were 440 steel and full tang, which makes sense. They probably come down to these lanyard hole, you know, flared tubes here. But it did say that they were 440 steel. So for $5, I'm happy with 440 steel. Now, I don't know how well it's heat treated. Certainly it could be basically not heat treated. I've heard, you know, that from people who do testing, that these Ozark Trail knives have tested very low on hardness, in the like low 50s to high 40s. So that's not good. But it did say they were 440 steel. An interesting thing here is that this one is a clip point, and then these two are drop points. So kind of strange, and it does take a little bit away from the gifting aspect in the sense that I don't really know why you would want to gift 3 of these and 2 of the same and then 1 extra, maybe if there was a family or something. But to gift these, you would have to open it and take them out and, you know, gift them separately. But here's the sheath here. Feels a little weird going into the sheath. There we go. It clicked in that time. So, here is the clip point. You can see this one's not sharpened quite the whole way to the heel or to the ricasso there. The grip itself is actually, I like it. It's nice and simple, you know. I like a simple handle shape, makes it ergonomic. The blade does have a little bit of a recurve because it's not sharpened quite right there. So, you know, that would be something you'd have to sharpen out. Might be part of the design too. It has a very significant belly there. Pretty light. Maybe it's like a, you know, a stick tang that goes all the way down to there, which would make sense, and is also how Mora knives are. Actually, Mora knives are not full tang, but they're plenty strong. Now, interestingly, it looks really thinly ground. It looks like it would cut well. You know, of course, I'll have to try it out. The grind does not look that even, though. I will say that. But, man, it looks really thinly, and it definitely looks like a hollow grind to me. But, wow, it looks like really thinly ground. Here, look at that. Look at the tip there. Yeah, that comes to a thin edge. That's pretty amazing. Just to test it here. Nice and sharp, at least in that spot. Don't want to cut my hair too much with these if I am giving them as gifts, but which one had, there's a little bit of edge damage there. Which one had that edge damage? This edge feels kind of rough. This one has the little nick, you can see that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, they seem kind of nice. I'll probably keep 1 of these, you know, for myself or an extra knife or whatever. For $5 each, not too bad. And now, haven't used it, you know, but I do like how thin they're ground. I'm actually really surprised by that. Normally, these inexpensive knives are ground very thickly. Again, this does not look like a super even grind. Actually, it looks pretty uneven, but very thin. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's $5. You're not getting a super great knife. The sheath is just a hole there for your belt. It does click in, and seems like it'll hold it pretty well, actually. So, fine sheath for $5, that's for sure. Lots of much more expensive knives come with worse sheaths. The grip, the plastic, so this black part here is rubbery, and then this is like a hard plastic. So, you know, you get a little bit of that tackiness here and then some of the texture here. But I'll put these in their sheaths. Sheaths are all the same, like I mentioned, whereas the one has a different blade shape. So, interesting there, but it does fit in just like the others. So let's move on to the folding knives. Now this is really what got my interest because it has a couple things that I like. It has multiple opening methods. You have thumb studs and flippers. It has aluminum handles, which I like, and a nice simple handle shape. So thought it was interesting. Thought I'd check it out. Again, on the box here, it does not say 440 steel. It just says stainless steel blade and aluminum handle. But on Walmart.com, you can see it mentions that here. It did say 440 steel. Now, I've never seen these in Walmart in person, so I don't know if you can only get them on Walmart.com or if you can also get them in person. I picked these up, you know, at Walmart after ordering them. But, yeah, I was interested in them. They've got some interesting blade shapes. Again, all 3 of these have different blade shapes and different handle colors. So we've got a blue, which is actually a really nice blue in person. I'll tell you what, I'm interested to see if it looks that good out of the box, but that's a nice blue. And then a gray and a goldish. And then we'll see the blade shapes up close a little better. So why don't I just get it open here. and we'll see what type of packaging this has. Similar. Now, this is one thing. I wasn't sure if it would have a clip. It actually didn't mention the clip on the specs there. And usually these Ozark Trail knives, unfortunately, are tip down only for whatever reason. Kind of old school in the knife world, but that's what they've gone with. I think non-knife people tend to prefer that, it seems like. I don't know if that's because it's what is most common on, you know, more budget knives, or if it's because, you know, having tip up carry is something that enthusiasts prefer specifically, or, you know, separately. But either way, these Ozark Trail knives almost always have tip down only. But let's open these up. Why don't I use the other knife I'm carrying today? Like I said, the Lion Steel Collector Knives exclusive Dom, and just kind of trace along this edge. Hopefully that's cutting through sufficiently. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, cutting through more than sufficiently. It's weird. The box is like, you know, it's connected there. It's very much made to be displayed. You can see it through the thing, which makes me think that they must have them in stock, or they are intended as gifts so that you know, the person can see it when they open the box. But I think I'm going to push these out of here. All right, there we go. So there are the folding knives. Let's set them and start with what I would call maybe a modified sheep foot. It does have curve. It's not a straight edge, but it has kind of a rounded, you know, spine here, connects. And first of all, it is very light, definitely aluminum, and it has just a liner on the lock side and clip side, coincidentally. Clip definitely not, you know, reversible or tip up and tip down. So these have Teflon washers. Right off the bat, does not feel super smooth at all. Feels very tight, actually. It feels like it could use some loosening, some adjustment. As for the centering, not that well centered, but not rubbing, so not actually a big deal for a $5 knife, in my opinion. Same deal here. Seems pretty well ground, especially, again, for, well, yeah. There, you can see that a little bit better there for a $5 knife. Let's see if it'll flip. I don't have high expectations. No. Yeah, it's going to take some work, either with oil and or adjustment, to get this thing to flip consistently. Even with wrist action. Let's see. I got it there with wrist action, but it's going to take some oil and probably some adjustment, which I don't, you know, I don't really want to try to adjust these. It's just always a hassle. I'm sure this is a free floating pivot or free turning, but thumb studs should be a little better. Yeah. So you can see on these lower end knives, thumb studs, you know, they you can get more behind them. You can open a little bit more consistently. So it is nice that it has both. The Ozark Trail knife that I got on travel had ball bearings, actually, amazingly. Again, it was about a $5 knife. So, amazingly, it had ball bearings, and it flipped well, but these ones don't have ball bearings. So here is a cleaver style blade. You know, the cleavers, not as popular now, I would say, as they were for a long time in the knife industry. I'm not a big cleaver fan person, but it seems like Ozark Trail has caught on maybe a little bit late on that. Huh. That is a hardness testing mark. I am pretty sure of it. That is really interesting. So at least, you know, they're testing them. I mean, that means that even if they're not getting them super high, you know, they're testing them at least. And that is very interesting. So you see this divot, how they test hardness, they press into the steel and it gives them a reading. So I am surprised to see that, and it's pretty interesting. Let's see about this one. This one feels the same, you know, tight and not smooth at all. but it can flip with the thumb stud. Now, I didn't test the, let me go back to this one here. Unlocked, and I don't expect blade play because it's very tight. No blade play, no forward and back. This one locks up pretty far across, as you can see. And how about this one? Don't expect it on this either. No, these are overly tightened. They don't need to be this tightened, but no forward and back either. And let's move on to the last one here, which is maybe a modified Wharncliffe, you might call it. Not exactly like this one, not as much of a sheepfoot, more of a Wharncliffe. But I do like the blue. The blue looks really good in person. I will have to say that this is a good color. No testing mark on this one. That's really interesting. It's kind of cool to see. This one feels the same, really, really overly tight. Does not need to be that tight. Not smooth either. This one also not centered well, but ground well. So don't expect to be able to flip this one. Not at all. I don't even really think, I don't feel confident that, there we go. With a really hard wrist flick, I can get it to open. But again, well, a little tough. This one maybe is even rougher, but you can get it to flick open with a thumb stud. Side to side, no side to side play, no forward and back. So overall in these folders, these look better than they perform, I would say. They look not like $5 knives, but that action's not very good. So I'll put oil on these and see if it helps. I don't expect it to help to the point where they can flip easily. I think you would have to adjust the pivots, and I don't know that I feel like doing that. This is more of an experiment. Am I as happy with the value on these as I was on the Ozark trail knife that was $5 and had ball bearing pivot? No, but these do look nicer than that one did. I think, I would say. So an interesting buy, whether or not, you know, it's a good value for me for 15 bucks. I probably wouldn't buy it for myself, wouldn't buy it again for myself, because I just would rather spend a little bit more money and get, you know, a better knife. But again, if you want to start a collection for very, very cheap, this might be an option. Or if you are, you know, just looking for a couple knives to throw in your tackle box or in your truck or something, then it might be a good option. But I wanted to test it out, so I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing video. If you have, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your comments below. Make sure you check out my social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Knife Thoughts, and check out knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.